Pete's. Tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Allstate Fairless Hills Tom LaCroix, and Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, Capital Grill, Ventresca's LTD, Independence Blue Cross, and SEPTA. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. It is great to be with you. We are at Chickies and Pete's in Malvern, Pennsylvania, and Dave, we are here to talk about another Eagles win. As a matter of fact, the third in a row.
No, actually, Merrill, it's the fourth win in a row. Don't shortchange. They're hard to get. They're hard to get in the NFL. And it was a game, Merrill, where, and I want to hear your.
I was thinking about the Cowboys' third loss in a row.
I understand. Some amazing things happened in the game. Two plays that I want to talk about with you in terms of your all-time great plays, your all-time great moments. A seemingly easy win, and then all of a sudden things turned like that, and the Eagles had to clinch the game late with a Nakobe Dean interception in the end zone. And I mean, at the end of the day, 4 straight wins is nice, 6-2 record on the way to Dallas, Merrill. I feel like we still have not seen the very best of the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think we've seen some of the very best moments. I think we've seen some of the very best stretches. But I don't think we have seen the best 4 quarters put together.
Well, agreed. I thought Cincinnati was going to kind of be the turning point in that respect. And then the way the Eagles came out against Jacksonville, very impressive first half. They limited the Jaguars to 31 total yards of offense in the first half. They took the football away late in the first half. They turned it into a touchdown. Sidney Brown set the tone early in the game, punched out a punt return. Eagles turned that into 7 points. So I felt really good at halftime. 16-0 lead. Shady McCoy goes into the Hall of Fame. Lincoln Financial Field was rocking. Eagles go up 22-0. And then it changed so quickly, Merrill.
You know, I have to be honest with you. Off the air during the halftime, I went over to Mike Quick, and I said the Eagles are playing well, and they're up 16-0. And I'm just saying this to you because it's probably not going to mean anything, but I don't like the number 16. I wish they had kicked 1 extra point so you have a 3-score lead. And Mike just kind of nodded, but we didn't think much of it. And then, of course, they went up 22-0. And then before you knew it, they were running for their lives.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody turned and looked at each other and went, why did they go for 2 leading 16-0?
And he had kicked the extra point.
And they took
it off the board.
Yeah, took it off the board, and then trying the Philly, you know, the brotherly shove that we can talk about as well, because it seems that defenses have figured out the brotherly shove a little bit here. And
a little bit.
The Eagles need to reconsider what they're doing there. But, yeah, then Merrill, I mean, football is such a game of momentum, and it changed. The Jaguars drove down the field, scored a touchdown, 2-point conversion. Saquon Barkley coughs up the football.
He didn't really. I to this moment do not believe that was a fumble.
So you know the explanation, right?
The explanation was that he got touched early in the run and then stumbled
by a defender, and then ran into his own offensive lineman.
I thought he ran into his own offensive lineman because he was tripped into him, and then the ball came down. You know, Gene Steratore, who does the analysis for the network, came on and said that was not a fumble.
Yeah, so, I mean, either way, it was, and then making matters worse, Jacksonville returned it for a touchdown, and all of a sudden, the mood at Lincoln Financial Field, all the air really went out of the building. Eagles were able to put together a touchdown drive on a catch, Merrill, that was incredible, that I'd love to get your 3 days later perspective on the Devontae Smith catch back at the end zone.
Well, I saw a catch last week on Thursday night football by Garrett Wilson. And it was a great catch. It was an amazing catch. And Al Michaels talked about it, and he and Kirk Herbstreit started to talk about comparing that to the famous catch by Odell Beckham years ago in the corner of the end zone where he reached out with one hand. I want to tell you something. That catch by Devontae Smith was right there with some of the best catches I've ever seen.
I agree. Reaching up with his right hand, bringing it in at the same time, getting both feet and a shin down in the back of the end zone with good coverage and just a beautifully thrown ball from Jalen Hurts. I am amazed repeatedly with what Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith do together. Devontae's body control is incredible, and that was the second amazing play of the game. Of course, the Saquon Barkley run, spin, and leap backwards over a defensive player was something that I've never seen.
I've never seen that either.
Yeah.
I have never seen anything like that. Let's introduce our guest.
Yes,
we have
please.
a great guest tonight.
Yes, we do.
Great friend, and we have been friends since he was drafted out of Boston College with the Eagles' first-round pick. It was Ray Rhodes who plucked him out of the draft, and I'm talking about Mike Mamula. Mike, great to see you.
Great to be here, Merrill. Thanks for having me.
I know that that you were at the game too. Were you? And I know you float around the boxes and great people. Were you able to see either of those two plays?
I saw both, but I saw the Barkley play. I actually saw the whole thing. Where I was sitting at the time of the Devontae catch, I couldn't really see. But yeah, I was looking at that and I was flabbergasted. I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, I mean, are you, Mike? You're an elite athlete. Amazed when somebody does something like that. Like, it's instinctual for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like something like that is like something you would see from like a Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
But Barry did pretty much every play, every game. But that was that caliber. It was up there.
And what was amazing about it, he didn't get crushed he didn't get hit on the play.
He got lucky.
He got really, because once you leave your feet, you're really exposed.
You never know what's going to happen
Yeah.
when you're back down at ground level.
But you know, he is so tough. I mean, he is a combination of power and speed.
Yes, no, there's only one Christian McCaffrey. He's pretty much the only comparable.
And that's the guy when the Eagles went out and signed Saquon Barkley. Internally, that's what I heard. You know, the question was, well, the Eagles never spend money on running backs. Why are they spending money on this running back? And the response was the Eagles felt that Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey are the two best running backs in the league, and they are worth that kind of money. And
look at the year that also Derrick Henry is having right now for Baltimore.
Yeah, I don't think
true.
people looked at him in that, but I think Derrick is just having a tremendous season. Not as much of a receiving threat, though, as Saquon. And by the way, Saquon's touchdown catch was also a spectacular catch on the wheel route. But Saquon Barkley has shown here through 8 games that he is something very, very special and
Worth every penny.
And worth every penny. And the difference that he's making with his football team is tangible. They have balance. They have explosiveness in the run game. They have durability. And every defense has to account for Saquon Barkley.
You know, Buddy Ryan used to say something many years ago, and that was before you. But he used to say the teams that win are the teams that can play well when the snow flurries fly, meaning in December, when you can no longer throw with the same degree of accuracy and the ball is cold. The teams that win over the years steadily are teams like traditionally Pittsburgh has been a run-first team.
Yep.
And if you can pound it and pound it and pound it and set everything else up, you can be a consistent winner.
Like the Redskins back in the day.
Yeah, with John Riggins.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
I think I guess my opinion would be also that it's tough to do that now. The scoring is up. The need for chunk plays is really very important. Like, you have to have some balance. You have to have some easy. You can't drive 15 plays, 75 yards every time you have the ball. So, but what the Eagles are doing with Saquon, they're running. They're second in the league in rushing, but he's also had so many big plays running the football. 20-yard gains, 30-yard gains, 50-yard gains. And they're getting chunk plays out of the run game as well as out of the passing game, and that's something that they just haven't had in the past.
See, that's a big thing, Mike, when you have a back like Saquon Barkley and you have a pair of wide receivers like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. I mean, they're just amazing players.
Yeah, by design, and couple that with the offense and the defense, for that matter, getting used to the different systems that were just put in, this year. So it's kind of getting baked in right now, where they're actually figuring out what they could do against certain schemes, and then also with Hurts figuring out what works best for him in that system.
And, I think that's a good point that Jalen, we kind of, Merrill, we've talked about it throughout the season here. Early season ups and downs. He's really come on lately. 4 straight wins, 12 touchdowns accounted for, 0 giveaways.
He's been great.
And I think the fact that they've been able to regenerate him in the run game has been so important. He's been able to create some things with his legs, and I think that puts a lot of stress on defense.
Going into this season, there were a lot of people who actually, fans mostly, who would call and talk about the fact that it doesn't seem like Jalen Hurts has the kind of speed that he exhibited in 2022, that he's probably been slowed down by injuries. Well, let me tell you something. He can still flat out fly.
Yeah, no, he can move, and that adds one extra layer of
danger
as far as when the defense is prepping for that team. They got to account for that run, the quarterback running. So it's a whole nother thing that they have to think about.
It's interesting, Mike. You're a defensive end. You want to have this controlled, reckless abandon as a pass rusher. But when you have a mobile quarterback, you also want to play contain.
It's
right?
awful. I mean, we played against like Jake Plummer back in the day.
Yeah.
There was always
Jake the Snake.
There was a number of quarterbacks that you had to account for, and you had to keep your rush lane. It was beaten in your head throughout the entire week that you got to keep your lane. But at the same token, you want to get sacks.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Mike, what is the difference between a defensive end, which you were categorized as, and what they now call an edge rusher?
Seems like the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems like the same deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. I think that it's also really interesting, Mike, that I've noticed in the way that the league has its statistics now. It's not just sacks. Now it's hurries. It's quarterback pressures. It's quarterback hits. Like all of these that you were either getting to the quarterback or not getting to the quarterback. Nowadays, you get, hey, he's a good defensive end. He had 12 quarterback hurries this year. He had 17 quarterback hits. And, if you sack a guy, you get credit for a sack, a quarterback hit, and a tackle for loss.
Say?
Yeah, right? I mean, it's ridiculous.
You had a game with multiple sacks, right? What's the most you ever had in a game?
I had 3 sacks, I think twice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can remember one game where you had 3 sacks and a fumble recovery.
Yeah, I mean, I had 3, actually, before my kids were born. So my kids were born December 22nd. I had a game against New England where I had 3 sacks. So then we had a bye week. So December 22nd, they were born, brought them home on Christmas Day, and then the following game I played against Kurt Warner, the greatest show on turf. I had 2 sacks and an interception for a touchdown.
Okay, I remember the interception for a touchdown.
Yeah, so that was like 3 weeks of craziness.
Well, when we come back from the break, can we talk about one of your greatest moments together?
Yeah, I can remember the moment.
Yeah, no, in a football game, not on a golf course, not that, not on and don't tell Mike, it's very appropriate.
No golf course tonight.
Yeah, no, it's a very appropriate conversation to have.
Okay,
he's still shaking over here.
Okay, no. Mike hit me with a golf ball once, but it was a mistake, and I wasn't hurt.
And it actually got Merrill back on track on the golf course.
Yes,
it did. It woke me up, and I played well the rest of the way. And he didn't throw it; he actually hit it from 200 yards away, and didn't know I was on a blind shot. But you know what? Mike was a gentleman about it, and he said, "I'm glad it didn't hit you in the mouth." All right, I will be back right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Make a selection from our seasonal food menu, then unwind with one of our sensational cocktails. The South Philly Sizzle, made with Bird Gang Habanero Tequila. Stateside Pumpkin Pie featuring stateside vodka, rum chata, and pumpkin puree. Delicious fiery sangria, tasty spiced apple punch, or the Campfire Mule. At participating locations for a limited time, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and I'm here to announce that the garage is always open. I'm talking about garage beer. Light beer, like it used to be. How refreshing. I believe my good friend Jason Kelsey even described garage beer as beer-flavored beer. There's a guy who knows beer. Find yours at drinkgaragebeer.com. Remember, the garage is always open.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO today. Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And we will be back with Mike the Assailant in just a few moments. But right now we're going to talk to Scott Johnson, and Scott is the general manager of what is known as Garage Beer, one of our new sponsors this year, and it's getting rave reviews every place, Scott. Congratulations, and thank you for stopping into Chickies and Pete's to say hello. Tell us about the origin of Garage Beer, and I know that one of the big guys involved is our friend Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, obviously having Jason behind it was always exciting to see. There's a lot of other celebrity faces that we have kind of behind it, mostly within sports. Believe it or not, our LLC is called Jock Beer, which is it was a perfect fitting for who we are as a brand. But to be a Philadelphia guy based in the industry here in Philadelphia. I've been selling beer for north of 18 years in the market. But when you get approached from a company that says, "Hey, we're launching in the Northeastern Division, centralized at the Philadelphia market," being a Philly guy, and then obviously the association with Jason, it makes for the perfect storm in terms of what a really exciting brand could become.
Jason Kelsey is as hot an endorsement celebrity as you will find in the country, and his door is getting knocked down with offers. How did you land him? What was the pitch? And what has he meant to the branding of the beer?
Yeah, obviously that's I'll start with the first part. So Jason became a part of this brand, obviously based out of the Ohio market. This brand was really started there. It was Northern Kentucky had a brewery called Braxton, and they had a domestic light beer called Garage. It was the number one pulled beer on handle by far, right? It was a craft brewery. Andy Sauer, one of our business partners, and Jason and Travis's partner came in, bought the brand out, and wanted to take this brand national because he thought that it had some legs. Jason and Travis they're big beer drinkers, have always wanted to have their own brand, but it wanted to be the right brand that fit them, and from an identity standpoint, Garage screams perfect for them. So they came on as of June as partners for us, and since then, the brand skyrocketed in existing markets north of 250% growth. So In terms of having Jason behind the brand, he's perfect. I mean, we're a little bit biased here in the Philadelphia region because of our relationship with him. I kind of explain him as being the really fun friend you just hope crashes your party. And when he does, and there's other outside markets that are starting to see it. I just got back from Buffalo 2 weeks ago, and they absolutely love him in that market.
Well, they love him in every market. Because he's every man. That's what he is.
He is. And you know what? And he's the perfect identity in terms of what a modern-day beer drinker is, right? He's a middle-aged dad, 3 kids, get a little thick around the waist. Kylie's probably telling him, hey, you got to cut back on the carbs and the calories. And
actually, he looks thinner.
Yeah, he looks great.
That's your next marketing campaign. Drink garage beer, lose weight.
I don't know if that's a slogan, but I would say you gain less weight could definitely be one of the slogans. Yeah.
How did you come up with the name? Was this something that started as a hobby that somebody brewed in his garage?
Not necessarily. I don't think it was necessarily the purpose of it. Garage, in terms of the name, is supposed to be just that. It's like, the modern day drinker. I think we've made the segment too complicated, too convoluted. Beer's not supposed to be a hard decision. It's supposed to be sitting with some friends, watching the game, just talking about life. And, I think sometimes the world's complicated today, right? And I think we've kind of gotten away from what it's like to socialize with friends and family. And that's really what this beer is supposed to be. It's supposed to be hanging in the garage, and having a couple beers with some friends and doing some small talk.
And now it's also available at all of the Chickies and Pete's.
It is. We're across all locations, so we're expanding on a national scale. We'll be national by March of 2025. But in terms of our local activations and our partnerships here, Pete has done a great job in terms of partnering with us here at Chickies and Pete's, and we're across all the locations to include a Jason Kelsey combo feature that they have across all the menus, as well as an all-day, everyday special of Garage Draft Beer.
Well, that is great, Scott.
Can I ask one more?
Sure.
Because beer is such a competitive market. Why do you think you've broken through?
Marketing. Marketing is everything behind brand. There's a brand identity and association with a modern-day consumer. I like to think that Garage talks to a new drinker every day. Some of the larger macro guys, they carved a path for us, so I'm not bashing them, but I think they've kind of lost a little bit of relevancy when it comes to how do you talk to a newer drinker. It's not cool to drink your dad's beer, right? At the end of the day, it's not cool to drink your own beer. Garage is kind of a new identity brand that people can associate with. So it's kind of one of the ways we've kind of broken through the convoluted
but your
segment.
dad's beer is free.
But your dad's beer is definitely free. Dad's beer is definitely
Scott,
free.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for stopping by and visiting us, and best of luck.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay,
Thanks,
take care.
Great job.
All right, that's Scott Johnson from Garage Beer. Well, we have Garage Mike with us right now.
All right, let's talk. Can we talk about this?
Yes.
The big moment here. Now, Mike, of course, I always actually, I think people have to understand, players don't generally remember a lot of their careers. It's just they remember the moments with their friends and creating relationships, and the games themselves, sometimes they remember, sometimes they don't. We are preparing to play the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday at AT&T Stadium, and 20 years ago, you were involved in December of 1995 with one of the great Merrill Reese calls of all time at Veterans Stadium. 4th and 1. They did it again. They stopped them again.
No, it didn't sound like that. That sounded like
That's
someone
about
just.
the helium.
That sounded like somebody stepped on his toe. But the fact of the matter is, there was a game. Ray Rhodes coaching against Barry Switzer.
Barry Switzer
in that game, and they stacked up Emmitt Smith, and everybody. And I was doing the game. My partner in the booth was Stan Walters, and I yelled as they stopped Emmitt Smith. They stopped Emmitt Smith, and the Eagles and all of a sudden, I see the officials running over and huddling, and it turned out that play got off right after they had already signaled for the 2-minute warning.
Yep.
Yes.
So then we go back, and Stan and I are talking about, well, what will they do now? And I'm saying, well, maybe they'll throw the ball to Novacek. And maybe we're thinking of all the things that they could do now that they have the play to do over again. And what did they do? They handed the ball off to Emmitt Smith, and all I could do was yell, they stopped him again.
They stopped him again.
I didn't do it that way. Someone is stepping on his toes tonight.
They stopped him again.
That's better.
They stopped him again.
It's not there, but it's better. So I gave it. They stopped him again, and I could not believe that. And then the next thing I said, now, the day before that Saturday, I had taken my kids to see a movie with Bill Murray, and the movie was called Groundhog Day, where Bill Murray wakes up and every day he goes through the same thing and keeps the scene just keeps repeating itself and repeating itself. And all I could think of, and I yelled, "It's Groundhog Day!" They stopped him again.
It's Groundhog Day. They stopped him again.
Oh my goodness! Somebody gave him helium.
But
what was crazy?
Did you have too much garage beer?
Maybe I need some more. I need some for sure.
The crazy thing about that is that I played in college with a guy named Ron Stone. Ron Stone was
running back. Kicker
he was an offensive lineman.
Oh,
huge,
different. Okay. Oh, okay.
Like
yeah. Ron Stone.
340.
Right.
And they brought him in as a tight end to block me. And they brought him in, and they ran the same exact play at me because I guess they thought that they were going to be able to do something, but they weren't. So it was great.
And what's also cool about that, there's such an iconic photograph about that from that game. I don't know if you've ever kept it.
Yeah, I have
and it's like
copy.
Greg Jackson and William Fuller and like
those are
Andy
names.
Andy
Harmon.
Harmon and name as many guys as you can on that defense, Mike.
Dan Stubbs.
Daniel
was in that
Stubbs.
picture.
Okay.
Stubbs,
Kirk
yeah.
Ovea.
What about Romanowski? Was Romanowski on that team?
Romanowski was on that team.
Okay.
I think he was out there as well. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wow!
Phew. So it's Dallas week, and that was a rookie season for you. Like, did you very quickly got a sense of what the Dallas Cowboys rivalry meant?
Yeah, I mean, between that, and it was cold as heck out there.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, like 8 degrees.
Oh, it was cold, yeah.
Yeah, it was awful.
What is the Cowboys rivalry like?
I mean, it's like that with, as far as, the skins, whoever plays them, it's
That's
always
true.
the biggest game.
Mm-hmm.
And, those are the folks that you hate the most because they're always wearing the Cowboy stuff. And, I personally don't like them, so.
Well, I was asked today, Dave, maybe you remember this too, or maybe you remember reading about it, why do the Eagles fans hate the Cowboys so much? And to the best of my memory, the Cowboys came into the league as an expansion franchise in 1960.
Yep.
And in that second year, Eagles had a running back and return man by the name of Timmy Brown, who was a very, very popular guy. And in that game that year, Leroy Jordan, who was the Cowboys' ferocious middle linebacker, knocked out Timmy Brown's teeth. And from that point on, Eagles fans hated the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it's interesting that so the postscript to they stopped him again. The Cowboys won the Super Bowl that year, and I think that's the last time they have won the Super Bowl. Like they have been. Such a bad football team.
Plus, during the 90s, I think everyone developed a huge hatred for them because they were so good.
Yeah.
Well, and there was another reason. There was another reason that had nothing to do with football, but it had to do with their general manager, Tex Schramm. Tex Schramm was a guy who had come over from CBS, where he had been in charge of publicity and marketing, and he was the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys. And they got together with NFL Films, and they did this whole thing because the Cowboys were the first NFL team to have cheerleaders. And they had these beautiful cheerleaders, the Dallas Cowgirls. And these girls went all over the world, and Tex Schramm coined the phrase that became known as the Dallas Cowboys are America's team.
Yeah.
And nobody could, except the people there, nobody elsewhere could stand the fact that some other team was being called America's team. Who were they to take the name of our country?
And what's interesting, again, growing this legend, the NFL, as you know, everyone shares revenue, and merchandise sales are split equally among 31 of the 32 teams.
Yes.
The Cowboys have their own merchandise deal with the NFL because they've sold, over the years, they've sold such a larger percentage. The Cowboys, I don't know if the star is still as powerful. I can't imagine that it is. But their brand is a really powerful brand, and the sales of their merchandise eclipse so much of the NFL that they worked out a deal with the league that, hey, why should we give away so much of our merchandise revenue when the rest of the league is not reciprocating to us?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine. Like, we're talking, 1995 was 20 years ago, right? Or wait, 30 years ago. Jeez.
I think I misspoke. I think I said they were called the Dallas Cowgirls.
No,
they were called the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Yeah. Well,
Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
No, I think fans are called just the fans just mock the team and call them the Dallas Cowboys.
But the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders went all over the world. and they did all these USO tours and everything, and they became world famous.
Just like Garage Beer, it's all about marketing.
It is all about marketing. Garage Beer has done a great job with it. They could become the Dallas Cowboys of the NFL. But it is remarkable. 30 years ago, the Cowboys were the best dominant franchise, along with the Niners and the Steelers to a degree. And you haven't heard anything about the Cowboys in terms of playoff football since then. They are a middling, no success franchise for 30 years.
I have to tell you something, and I don't mean to bring this up again for any kind of pats on the back, but this summer, as you guys both know, I was knocked off my feet by being named to the winner of the Pete Rozelle Award and admitted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And right prior to that, after the announcement, I came home one day and there was a letter in the mail. Did I tell you this? Yeah. There's a letter in the mail, and I open up the letter, and it is a congratulatory letter and with a lot of wonderful things in it from a guy who said he followed my career from the beginning, and he thought it was interesting that he had a naval background and I was a naval officer when I came out of college. And then he mentioned the fact that his coach at the Naval Academy was a guy I got to know as a football coach at Temple University by the name of Wayne Harden. And that letter it will forever remain in a dear spot in our house, but it was from Roger Staubach.
That's awesome.
And I just couldn't believe that I got a letter from Roger Staubach, who really is everything you want a great athlete to be. Aside from just a great performer, he is truly a great man. Have you ever met him?
It was crazy how I didn't meet him, but he spoke to our Boston College team. And this story was brought up to me probably about 5 years ago, where Tom Coughlin had Staubach come in, and Coughlin, he was the most prepared guy I've ever met in my entire life. He made the entire team come in the day before Staubach showed up to prepare for the entrance of when Staubach entered the room. So he did a faux announcement that, 5-time Super Bowl, All-Star, blah, 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 Roger Staubach. And then he started screaming at everybody, stand up and clap, stand up and clap. And then the following day, we were prepared. Roger came in, and everybody gave him a standing ovation.
So the moral of the story is that we now know that a letter from Roger Staubach could knock Merrill Reese off his feet, but a drive off the tee from Mike Mamula cannot.
You're stealing my thunder.
I merely stood tall and flicked it away like a mosquito. All right. Do we take a break? We take a break now, and we'll be back with Mike Mamula right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. We're teaming up with Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown for a new wing flavor this football season, A.J. Brown's Sweet Heat Wings. We combine the sweet and spicy flavors A.J. loves, plus a portion of the proceeds benefit the A.J. Brown Foundation and its focus on empowering underprivileged youth. At participating locations for a limited time, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit penncommunitybank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and I'm here to announce that the garage is always open. I'm talking about garage beer. Light beer, like it used to be. How refreshing. I believe my good friend Jason Kelsey even described garage beer as beer-flavored beer. There's a guy who knows beer. Find yours at drinkgaragebeer.com. Remember, the garage is always open.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO today. Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for AutoPay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are at Chickies and Pete's in Malvern, Pennsylvania. You're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. And with tonight's injury report, here is David G. Spadaro.
David L. Spadaro. It's time now for this week's injury review, brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689. Merrill, we do have some injury news to kind of be concerned with.
Okay.
The uncertain status of wide receiver A.J. Brown, who left the game on Sunday with a knee injury. There has been no official update given by the Eagles. Reports are that A.J. is day-to-day, which is a good thing.
Yep.
Whether he plays on Sunday, we do not know. We have seen this Eagles offense struggle without A.J. Your thoughts if the Eagles go into Dallas without A.J. Brown?
Well, they also have another great receiver by the name of Devontae Smith, Smitty, as they call him. And when they played in Tampa Bay, they didn't have either of them.
Right.
So I think as long as Devontae Smith is out there and they continue to use Jahan Dotson, who I have always liked and who made a big catch in the game the other day, I think they're going to be okay. Now, Mike brought something up, and I want to just touch on it for a moment, Dave. When the Giants won the Super Bowl, I dropped a note to a friend of mine who I got to know when he was assistant coach with the Eagles by the name of Tom Coughlin. And on my wall is a picture of Tom with the Lombardi Trophy and his feet up on the desk, and he said to Merrill, "Thanks for the nice words. The joy is in the journey, Tom." And Tom Coughlin was your college coach. Tell me what that was like.
Well, it was his first foray as a head coach in any league, and he was a general. He would have been a great general in the military, and I deeply needed that in my life when I was 18 years old, and I learned a lot from him. And he was ultimately prepared and just a great role model. But yeah, he was tough. I mean, it was a lot of craziness that you wouldn't expect. But yeah, it was great.
Is there, Mike, a different kind of approach that coaches need in the college game versus the NFL game?
I mean, yeah, you would think so, because you're dealing with a younger group of folks, and Andy had a really good mix of disciplinarian and also players coach. So I had Coughlin, who was just a huge disciplinarian, but that absolutely works for him. And Ray was a great players coach, and Andy
wasn't he?
Andy seems, or he was to me at least, a mix.
Yeah, I mean, he's still at the top of his game, and today's players have changed so much. I mean, they actually allot time in meetings and during the course of the day for the players to spend time on their cell phones.
I have a question.
So I mean, imagine a meeting, Mike.
No,
that's not going to happen.
That's not happening.
No, see, here's what I thought. When Ray came here, Ray had a glare. Ray could look at you and put you in your place. But as time went on, there was nothing really behind it. I thought he was almost too nice.
I agree.
I mean, he brought in a great group of veteran players that first year that we were there, and it seemed like they got older. And I don't know if that backfill was, what they expected or what they needed, but that's kind of like
it's
what
also
happened there.
it's also a time. I mean, when you think about those days, Jeffrey was new to the building and the business.
Yeah.
Joe Banner was there, and what was interesting as you look back, that Ray Rhodes' assistant coaching staff.
I was going to say the same thing.
Amazing group but they were really young.
Sean
Payton, John Gruden, Bill Callahan.
Emmett Thomas was,
Emmett
the defensive coordinator. You said John Gruden.
Yeah.
And Ray hired the special teams coach, John
Smith.
Harbaugh.
Was Danny Smith? Wasn't Danny Smith?
Originally,
was
there,
but then John Harbaugh was hired by Ray.
Yeah.
Right. John Harbaugh was the holdover from Ray to Andy.
Yeah.
But he was actually given that spot by Ray Rhodes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Juan Castillo and just up and down. Your coach was Mike Turgovac, I believe, correct?
It was.
Came from Michigan. And
Bill Callahan.
And Bill Callahan was the offensive line coach.
The O-line coach, which he's now helping his son, Brian, coach in Tennessee.
Yeah, the linebacker coach was a guy named Joe Vitt.
Do you remember Joe Vitt?
I do remember
He
Joe
was
Vitt.
crazy.
He was great.
Yeah.
I used to call him coach. He used to call me player.
I do remember Joe Vitt. Oh my goodness.
And Sean Payton was on that. I mean, it was just an amazing staff. But Ray was one of those guys, in my opinion, that was a great defensive coordinator, not necessarily a great head coach. Andy Reid went from quarterback coach to great head coach, and has still, all of these years later, from 1999 to now, been able to adapt to the evolution of the game, the evolution of the players, the evolution of the media, the expansion of the regular season. He is, and what he always told me, and tell me if this is true, Mike, he never wanted players to be surprised. That every day you were in your routine, and you knew what to expect every single day when you went to the complex.
Yeah, I mean, that's the disciplinarian aspect of what he brought to the table. And then he also coupled that with being, player's coach.
Yep.
I thought one of the best things that Andy ever did was with the third pick in the draft, he chose Donovan McNabb. And he was the second pick.
Yeah, Tim Couch was first.
Tim Couch was first. Achilles Smith was the third.
That's right.
So in between them was Donovan McNabb, second player chosen in the draft. But what he did was, before Donovan McNabb stepped on the field, he brought in Doug Peterson, who he knew from Green Bay, and he let Doug take a pounding for quite a few weeks.
There was 6 games.
At least, until he felt the offensive line was ready to protect Donovan McNabb. Unfortunately, he didn't have much in the wide receiver department.
No, there was not
but
much
when
there.
Donovan came in, he was savvy, he knew what he was doing, and he did get some good protection.
Can we do a little full circle moment here?
Sure.
Who did Andy Reid and Doug Peterson as the quarterback register their first victory against? What team? The Dallas Cowboys at Veterans Stadium. Charles Johnson caught the pass, got into the end zone. Eagles beat the Cowboys. I believe the Eagles were 0-4 at the time.
Look at you,
They
Rain
beat
Man.
the Cowboys. That's all I can remember. I can't add 5 + 5, but I can tell you everything about the Eagles. And that was so. As we get ready again in the chapter of the Philadelphia Eagles, guys, this is another Welcome to Dallas week.
It is.
So,
it is.
But you don't even care about that because it doesn't even register in your most memorable Eagles wins.
You know what my favorite? Why don't you ask me about my favorite Eagles win over the Dallas Cowboys?
Merrill, I was thinking.
Yes. What were you thinking?
I was thinking, what is your favorite Eagles victory moment over the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, let me think about that. It occurred on January the 8th, 1981, on a bitterly cold day at Veterans Stadium. It was the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. And all week, Dick Vermeil, they took the Eagles down to Tampa, Florida, and we worked out at Tampa, Florida the whole week. Then we came back on Friday, and they played the game on Saturday. And the next thing I knew was that day was so cold. It was unbelievable. But Dick Vermeil set everybody up. He set up the media. He was saying, you have to remember, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys. We're just lucky to be on the field with a team that good. He told the players, I found out later, that by this time tomorrow, he told us to them that night before, by this time tomorrow, you guys are going to be joined together heading for the Super Bowl. So they came out against the Dallas Cowboys that day, and I remember in the first quarter, Ron Jaworski spun, and he handed the ball off to number 31, Wilbert Montgomery, and he ran to the right side between a hole created by the right tackle, Jerry Sizemore, and the right guard, Petey Perreault. Right? And he goes through the hole, and as I saw number 31 disappear into the end zone, there was no question in my mind that the Eagles were headed for Super Bowl 15.
What year was that for you as being the announcer?
Well, I started with 2 games to go in the 77 season.
So it
was 77, 78, 79, 80. It was at the end of my 4th year.
And Merrill said, boy, this is going to be easy. The Eagles are going to be in the Super Bowl all the time.
Well, you know what I can tell you? They had a terrible game against the Oakland Raiders. And a guy named Rod Martin kept picking off Ron Jaworski. Yep. But they lost that Super Bowl, and the guys got onto the plane the next day. And to a man, they were saying, you know what? You have to go to a Super Bowl and experience it so that you can come back the next year, and we'll come back next year, and we'll win the thing. Next year didn't occur for 23 more years.
Right. Let's take a break, Merrill. Let's come back and talk about some
football. We will
football.
take a break, and we'll be back with Mike Mamula right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, celebrating football season with special new menu items. The Kelsey Combo, created by number 62 himself, a handcrafted barbecue burger, world-famous crab fries, and an ice-cold garage beer. Our incredible jumbo soft pretzel, Chicky style, with a heaping skillet of our own in-house crab dip, and our delectable sweet heat wings, where a portion of the proceeds go to the A.J. Brown Foundation. Participating locations for a limited time. Chickies and Pete's.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit PennCommunityBank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and I'm here to announce that the garage is always open. I'm talking about garage beer. Light beer, like it used to be. How refreshing. I believe my good friend Jason Kelsey even described garage beer as beer-flavored beer. There's a guy who knows beer. Find yours at drinkgaragebeer.com. Remember, the garage is always open. When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are here at Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. It is time now for this week's Penworth Financial Keys to the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503. Visit penworth.com. Let's start with you, Dave. You give a key to the game. I will take one, and then Mike will be the anchor.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the turnovers, and I think there is no coincidence here that the Eagles have won 4 straight games, and in that 4-game stretch have not given the football away. And I think that's just one of we are inundated with numbers in the NFL, many of which mean nothing. I am very much a believer in turnover ratio. The Eagles started at
minus
6. I'm sorry, they turned the ball over once last week, but Jalen hasn't turned the football over. So they were +2 last week. They're now at -2 for the season.
Yes.
And I really believe that the Eagles, if they don't turn the football over and they don't give the Dallas Cowboys, without Dak Prescott, a short field, they'll be in really good shape on Sunday.
All right, my key is to keep doing what you're doing and give the ball to number 26. Let him rip into the Dallas defense, wear them down, and when appropriate, hit. If A.J. Brown is back, go to A.J. Brown and go to Devontae Smith, and every now and then, look for number 83, Jahan Dotson, who can also play.
Merrill, do you at all have concern about durability with Saquon and all the touches that he's getting?
Well, he has had injuries before with the Giants, but mostly they have not been injuries of fatigue. They've been things like a torn ACL, things like that could happen to anybody on any play. And when you have a great back like Saquon Barkley, just use him. Use him.
Isn't Prescott not playing?
Prescott is not playing in this game.
No
Dak Prescott.
Yeah, no.
Come on. Give me a defensive key, Mike.
Well, what I'm saying is it's starting in the trenches.
Yeah, baby. Get to the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be Prescott, so unfortunately it's not going to be Prescott. Yeah. But they're going to be bringing him down, and I think that's it. I think it's both sides, offensive and defensive lines.
Not a bad one. You know, it's really remarkable. All those years the Cowboys were such a good running team. They are, I think, last in the league in running the football now. They're just a bad running football team.
You know, they have Zeke Elliott back, or they did, but then he got suspended last week for disciplinary action.
Yeah, being late to meetings, and it is remarkable. A guy who's supposed to be a leader and who really was not in demand at all in free agency, not setting a good example for a young football team. That's just it's incomprehensible to me that Zeke Elliott would do that. But it speaks to the dysfunction of the Dallas Cowboys.
The other thing is, we don't really know if their greatest weapon, C.D. Lamb, is going to be out there.
Yeah, he had a shoulder injury on Sunday. He came back, played through the injury, and we'll get an update during the week. I would be very surprised if he practiced this week. And
it's
that
some
means
kind of a sprained
shoulder,
AC
joint. And if you're not practicing, you're not developing timing with new quarterback Cooper Rush. So I might think that it'd be very difficult for CeeDee Lamb to play, Merrill. The Dallas Cowboys come into this game limping at 3-5, 3 straight losses. They are ripe to be beaten.
Yeah, they're a mess.
Where the Eagles have not won since 2017.
Yeah, and the Eagles have 4 straight wins, so they are rolling right now. The other guy to watch out for, they have a pretty good tight end in Jake Ferguson,
yes.
number 87.
Yes,
so
yes.
he can play. All right, now we're going to take our picks. All right, here we go. First, Cincinnati at Baltimore. David.
I will take Baltimore.
Mike.
Baltimore as well.
Okay, I am taking Baltimore too. All right, here's another one. Think about this for a moment. The Giants, who are a mess, at Carolina, who is coming off of a Bryce Young guided win. Do the Giants win it, or does Carolina win again?
I'm gonna go with the Giants in this one.
Okay, Mike.
Carolina.
What is Merrill saying in these?
Merrill says the Giants.
Okay.
All right. Here's one. Pittsburgh at, as Buddy used to say, Washington.
I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I think they're coming off the bye week. The defense will put a lot of pressure on Jaden Daniels. Let's go Steelers.
Mike.
I am thinking Washington.
You are thinking Washington.
Don't think too much.
I am going Pittsburgh.
Try not to.
All right. Here's another one. This Houston is coming off of a loss, and they are playing Detroit. They're home against Detroit. The Lions are ferocious. Even though they lost Aiden Hutchinson, they are still very, very good. Who are you picking between Detroit visiting Houston?
I will take the home team, the Houston Texans.
Houston Oilers. Okay, that was a song.
That was fun, yeah. Houston Oilers.
That's it. You got it.
Detroit on this side.
Detroit on this side,
yes.
too.
Mike, you're such a contrarian.
The Detroit on this side. All right. Buffalo at Indianapolis and Joe Flacco.
I will take Buffalo at Indianapolis.
My hometown team, Buffalo.
Did you grow up a Bills fan?
I did.
Yeah.
You grew up in where? Lackawanna?
Yes, you're going to want to come to Lackawanna.
The tough times, Mike, that for 4 straight Super Bowl appearances when you were a kid, and they were unable to close the deal.
Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. That's what Bill stands for.
Marv Levy was still a great coach.
Yes.
All right. New England. This is an interesting game. New England and Chicago. The Bears are off and on.
Yeah, wow. I'll go Chicago there.
Chicago as well.
3 for the Windy City. Here's another interesting game. San Francisco, I'm not sure where they are right now. I know they're visiting Tampa Bay, who is coming off of an overtime loss to Andy.
I've got to believe San Francisco pulls it together on the road in Tampa. Good amount of Niners fans there, and the defense playing well.
I think Tampa is a good team.
See, I'm with you, and I love the way Baker Mayfield is standing tall.
Okay.
All right, finally, we have Miami at the Rams, and Tua is standing upright still.
I believe the Rams are sneaky good, and I think teams are starting to find out that they have drafted very well. They've got a lot of depth. Matthew Stafford is clearly a top quarterback. I will go Rams in that game, and I will also keep my fingers crossed that Tua stays healthy.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm going Rams.
Did you say me
I'm
Tua?
going Rams. I think they've got those 2 receivers back, so they're finally starting to click a little bit.
Well, they are.
How many do we differ on, Merrill? I know I missed last week, so I can't really compare our records, but I'd like to.
Well, we differ on just 2 this week.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see. Anyhow, that pretty much wraps us up tonight. Mike Mamula has been our guest. He's a great friend. He's a great guest. Not such a great golfer, but he's but we always enjoy
girl.
you. You are a good golfer. You hit your target every time. You were aiming at me. Anyhow, we thank you for joining us, and it's always great to see you. And Dave, thank you. We will be together next week. Next week we will be at Chickies and Pete's in Audubon.
A very short week, Thursday night game against Washington.
Yes. Thank you to Chris Ermer, our technical director, Bill Werndale, who did absolutely nothing, and our executive producer of Pro Football Report.
But he did it well.
He did. Our executive director of Pro Football Report is George Forster, PGA.
Yes.
So for all of us, thank you so much for joining us. Good night, everyone.
And go Birds!
1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 1.